Hey everyone, Center Federation here doing this alt-right hangout with my friend. You guys all remember him. He's Danilo. He was the guy I
Yeah.
interviewed from Brazil. Say hi.
Hi.
Yo,
Wait, are we live?
yeah, we're live.
Okay.
All right, so what brought you to the alt-right?
Wait, I I don't know how to answer this properly. I think it was because the idea to save the West, um, it seems too much idealistic and romantic. But what I mean is, I felt I had to do something, to prevent the downfall of our civilization. So uh, I found so many people and just entered in like a group with some friends, and well, there are many different people with different positions or ideals. I think the common point of the alt-right is like to defend Western civilization.
I joined pretty much almost the same reason that you joined. I joined because of the degeneracy and stuff that you tend to see in the West due to the leftist propaganda.
Yeah, exactly. Because like whole my in my whole life, I've experienced the indoctrination in the schools and high schools, university, and you know the media, it's everything. So you have all your environment, um, like guiding you for a liberal agenda.
Yeah.
So when I just realized, I mean, when I just went to search the other side, and I studied, I tried to flee from the mainstream, and I just realized that it was wrong what they were doing. So
Yeah.
I keep more and more studying, and the more I study, the more I convince myself I'm on the right side.
Do you also support the free market, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's what works. I mean, um, on a very statist uh, economy, you just screw everything. It's like you can put um, short periods, short periods, but you also broke a great crisis. Well, I'm not I'm not an expert in economy, but what I can see, it's just a comparison between countries like United States that have been very um, liberal, classically liberal in the market, and
Yeah.
very statist countries like Brazil. And it's just, I mean, is there are two countries that have been colonized, and part of them used by agriculture, plantation, and other parts of these countries use it more to populate.
Yeah.
But same size, same population in matter of quantity, but United States have developed so much, and Brazil we still um, in trash, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Also, what are your thoughts on Israel?
Yeah, it's complicated. I think it's when you talk about Jews, uh, it's different from ethnically Jew and or religiously Jew. I, to be honest, I support is Israel, uh, but I support with some exceptions. Like they cannot. How can I say? Uh, I substance. If it was back in when Israel was created, I wouldn't really support them. I think I I don't know what position I would hold, but I think now you can just say, well, Israel, open your borders and let the Muslims kill you, or leave. You know, you can do that.
Yeah,
So,
like I'm with you on the
and,
whole Israel thing. I believe they're right. Like I believe the Jews' right to self-determination and their right to their own homeland. I'm also a Zionist myself. But the thing is, like, I'm very critical of what Israel does, though, because there are some things Israel does that I don't like. Like, for example, I've heard that Israel has helped repair Syrian rebels, even though many of
yeah,
those Syrian rebels are ISIS members. And on top of that, a lot of Palestinians are Christians, and sometimes they are slaughtered as well.
yeah, yeah, it's true.
But I believe Palestine and Israel should both like govern itself without like there having to be like a war between the two.
Yeah, I I think actually part of the Jews of Israel are different from many Jews of uh, outside, you know. Um,
Yeah.
but I have I just cannot say too much about it because I know much about um, these things. Like I see many people don't like Jews because they're rich and they control the establishment. It's true, but um, I just don't have any anti-Semitic creation or anything. I just I don't know. I think they are in the power, but I don't know if I don't think it's true. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think it's pure. I don't know. I don't think it's pure coincidence, but I don't think it's like um an evil gene. You know, like
They're like a
you're
Jewish
born
conspiracy.
evil. Yeah. What? What did you say?
Like you say, you don't believe it's like a Jewish conspiracy?
Yeah. No, I think no. It's not like I don't know what to think about it actually. I have no um, formed opinion, you know.
Yeah.
Like
The
I don't
question is
think
pretty
it's
complex.
what.
Whether or not you support Israel, that question is
It's cutting
consider
the call.
an ally in the middle.
An ally? What? I,
Wait,
the
could you hear
call is
me?
cutting. Yeah, now I can.
I was just saying that Israel is like the only country we could actually consider an ally or a friend to us in the entire Middle East.
Yeah, yeah. And even because you have an entire region where um, Islam dominates everything, I think it's important to have an ally down there anyway. And but well, Saudi Arabia it's also an ally, but they just they Christians and
Trustworthy.
something. What?
They're not trustworthy.
Yeah, like in Saudi Arabia, you have one of the strongest laws against the Christians in the world. I think
Yep.
it's only North Korea is worse, but you can be arrested for.
Yeah.
And how can you call a country like that an ally? You
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
How is the degeneracy in Brazil?
Well, Brazil is famous for degeneracy, but uh, it has there is a difference among the regions, the states, but in general, it's like everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, like uh, I mean, if you go to big cities, they're uh, they're much more degenerate than little cities. Like I, I think it's similar in U.S.
Yeah. Yeah, over here it's the biggest cities and tend to be more degenerate than the little ones. It, it's
Yeah,
it's due to the amount of Marxist indoctrination and infiltration within our society.
yeah, exactly. And not only that, but in big cities, you don't have that strong links with people like you have in little cities. In, um, in small towns, you have a strong link with your family, with your friends. You know everyone, and I think this is an important fact um, because in big cities you are more affected by the indoctrination. You are more likely to give up from your family values, you know, than in little cities because you have more influence the your friends from the media, and it's very different, you know. And you have more like uh, I don't know. I have the impression. I don't know if it's the same thing down there, but in Brazil, in the big cities, people are more like work, 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 money, money, money. You know, I have to do that now. I have to gain my money. Fuck the others. You know, it's like I need to be better than my neighbor. I need to be more rich, and people are much um, affected by greedy. I don't know,
Yeah,
and
they're greedy now.
and this. makes them including more liberal, because when you give up from your values and you start to make everything like you fall in relativism. Uh,
Yeah.
Another side, in little cities, when you have a strong links with people, and um, and you have very important things you have to do, else, you don't create this relativism.
Yeah.
I this is an important factor. And like, for example, some sexual degeneracy, uh, it happens in little cities too. An example, but um, the difference is the guy something like casual sex. I don't know anything. Uh, they know they are doing wrong. They don't care, but they know they are doing wrong. In little cities, that guy that do wrong, they formulate a philosophic thinking to break their views, like to prove that what they're doing is actually good.
Yeah,
That's the
like they're always
difference.
encouraged in that behavior because this all comes from that pro-choice idea.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, it's like if you go to talk to a gay guy in a little city, they like they do what they do, but they don't think it's um, a big city. Of course, I'm generalizing, but if you go to a big city, they're more likely to say, "Well, it's love, it's good, and it's amazing." That's the difference.
Yeah.
When I say about degeneracy by regions.
Y- Yes. So like earlier, you saw my video about Pinochet, right?
Yeah.
What would be your strategy for dealing with leftists? Like
For what?
for dealing with leftists, like to suppress the left.
Well, I should get in the power first, then I'll think.
All right.
They should be deported to Antarctica. We can create like in Solvi or something.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Yuri Bezmenov?
Yeah, it's very very good.
Yep, I saw his video about like subversion of like and like
Yeah,
all that stuff like psychological defects. I think with all that stuff and with all the cultural Marxism and stuff, I I think we might need a Neo McCarthy.
yeah, and I've seen this video about subversion about 3 times. Like, it's very good, and yeah, I I agree with you. And it's like, how could people not see the invasion
Yeah,
the I mean
kind of like
it's
what Yuri Bezmenov says. If like communists want to start infiltrating and invading us, it's not going to be through like guns or like warfare or
yeah,
like blowing up bridges. It would also be through brainwashing, indoctrination, and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff. It's subversion.
yeah, and it's only logical that if you think, if I was living back in that time, and I didn't knew about anything that this conspiration of the communists to invade and indoctrinate the West, I just be suspicious about this, because how can how can a civilization try to destroy themselves, destroy itself, like uh, uh, every each civilization in the world will just uh, fight to grow up and be better, richer, and stronger, and anything, but never to destroy themselves. Never. It never happened. And
Exactly.
if it's happening, if it is happening, it's because there is something, some enemy of yours, not cool. It's kind of obvious, actually, if you think. How can I? How, it's so absurd. How can you accept some guys fleeing from Germany to your universities to teach in your universities to your kids, to your young people that will be the future of your country, uh, and these people talking, destroying your country, like saying you are fascist, saying
Or like you're
uh,
fascist, you're
you
Nazi.
must be destroyed. Yeah, like I'm talking about Marcuse and Herbert Marcuse and
Yeah.
Horkheimer and
Are those the professors of the
from,
Frankfurt School?
yeah, from, these guys just came in from asylum and uh, taught the new generations there, and nobody talks about it. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
I,
Yes.
I have never seen any politician talking about it. It's like they simply ignore, and it's an important movement. Uh, if you see the entire hippie movement, it's based on it. I think it's Marquis' book, Eros and Civilization. I think he basically says um, United States is violent because their culture, or their Christianity, their heavy morals and Christian values that like close them sexually. So how they're sexually closed and cast, they need to put out their energies in war, and solution to it would be making the young people to make more sex, so they will be like more liberals and degenerated, and wouldn't need to fight, wouldn't need to go to war. And this was the seed from to the hippie movement, and he was in university. It happened about 20 years, no, 10 or 20 years after.
Yeah, like it's just that these people, like these Marxists, are so like so anti-Western and so fundamentally anti-white that
Yeah,
they like they just hate anything that's remotely Western. That's the reason why I shifted towards the alt right as well. if you also look at
Yeah,
one of the 45 goals of communism, it says that to legalize all, to like try to normalize things that are not natural and things that are like and like degenerate stuff.
yeah. Well, I've seen something today that made me so angry. Like I, I I wanted to punch the wall. I've seen someone on the group shared uh, news about a party in Spain, the Podemos, that is a far left party, saying that Spain should apologize the Muslims for retaking Granada
What the hell? That's retarded.
because it was a genocide, cultural genocide.
No, it wasn't. It
I
was a
was so
war, and
angry.
the
Like
Catholics won.
the Muslims came and killed. They came and invaded the Spain and Portugal, the Iberian Peninsula, and conquered almost everything of the peninsula to Asturias, and they didn't respect anything. And then the Christians have retaken for I think uh, 700 years, more than 711 years. It's like it was a long fight, but they have retaken it, and they wanted us to apologize. If Spain had to apologize for one thing, it would be letting the anarchists to do the civil war on Spain. It's uh, it's to haven't deported or killed these communists that they thousands of people. They had they did religious persecution like
Well, yeah,
killing
they murdered Catholics.
Catholics. Yeah, they did horrible things, and they are telling us to apologize. Us no, but they're telling them to apologize for to the Muslims because we're
Maybe the
taking
far left
your
Spain should
own land.
apologize for their atrocities.
Ridiculous. No, I just cannot hear something like it. If it was something telling me face to face, I would punch a face. Seriously.
Yeah, these people also have they have white guilt, and they also have guilt for like being their own country. If Spain is guilty of anything, it's when the Spanish Republic and all the communists, the far leftists, started murdering Catholics and priests, nuns, and all religious people.
Yeah. No. The history of the civil war in Spain, you see how the communists did uh, a bloodbath,
Yeah, they
down
did a
there,
lot worse than the
and
nationalists did.
they blame victims. Like communists do only two things: when they're not playing victims, they are doing making victims.
Yeah.
It's always like that.
Yeah, and every time, like, I've argued with communists, and this is the reason why I always block them. See, the reason why is because
Yeah,
every single time, like, let's say you talk about the Holodomor and all the atrocities that the communists committed. I brought this up in my Pinochet video. They all seem to say, "Oh, it's just capitalist propaganda." But the thing is,
yeah.
they'll deny their crimes no matter how many times you prove it to them.
No, you
Arguing
have
was useless.
uh, rewrite the past, like George Orwell well said in 1984. It's like absurd.
Yeah.
Have you read this book, 1984?
I haven't read it yet, but I might have to read it for like a project soon for school.
Yeah, it's a very good book. You should read.
I've also seen the trailers of it as well.
What?
I've also seen the trailers of the book
Yeah.
as well.
No, read this one and Brave New World. Brave New World and 1984 are two old but prophetic prophetic books. They like uh, it seems they were uh, written less or now because they are so actual and so accurate, and it's not a coincidence, of course, because George Orwell was a communist in the past. Before he writes a book, he was a journalist. He knew about how they did to rewrite the past and things like that. And Aldous Huxley, it's um, was from a globalist family. His brother was a Secretary General of the League of Nations, if I'm not wrong. Julian Huxley. You can search. I can search if it's exactly Julian Huxley. Humanist. And so it's not a coincidence. He knew about their plans. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sending in chat. Right?
So let's see what else we could talk about. Oh, I see. Julian Huxley.
Yeah, it's uh, his brother was Aldous Huxley that wrote the Brave New World.
Yeah.
But you see, he's not from like it's not like guessing. Yeah, it's his family. He knew about what he was talking about.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So what do you think of people who deny cultural Marxism?
Oh yeah, it's conspiracy theory, like they say.
Yeah, they always say that it's a right wing white supremacist conspiracy theory.
It's even worse.
But the thing is, it's a reality though.
Yeah, I've never white supremacist. I've never heard. I've heard like, oh, doesn't anymore or things like that, but I never heard that. It's a white supremacist thing.
It's like, but if you look at the goals and aims of the 45 goals of communism, if you look at what Antonio Gramsci, the Italian Marxist, wrote, and what most of the people from the Frankfurt School said, you would see all the things that they said is happening right now in the West.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And
That's why I joined
also,
the alt-right.
it's not to those people who say it's like conspiracy theory. It's just reading their own books. It's not. I always, when I argue with someone like that, I say you don't need to hear me, hear them, hear these ones, hear Gramsci, hear Marcuse, hear these guys, read their books, and you say I'm not lying, I'm not degenerated. I'm just warning people about what they want to do. So, but the guys are like, oh, I won't read these books, I won't do anything, and it's just bullshit, and I don't believe in it. So,
Yeah, it's because
I can
socialists are very
talk.
thick. Oh, hey,
What?
Adrian.
Hello,
Hey.
Hey,
I'm Adrian. It's nice to meet you.
His name is Danilo.
nice to meet you.
You're from Brazil?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember watching one of your videos you've made with Sense Right Federation. Continue on, don't let me interrupt.
Nope, no worries.
Go on.
Oh,
Here.
Danilo, he wants you to continue on your statement about how you were arguing with some dude who's denying cultural Marxism.
Oh yeah. But I think I finished.
All right.
Yeah. For example, if you read Gramsci, he says basically what do you have to do to destroy the Western civilization? You have those
Degenerated.
3 columns, and you have to destroy these columns, and it's a recipe to do to destruction, say, to about cultural Marxism. It's reading them.
Yeah, even in one of Lenin's quotes, he says that one of the best way to destroy the West was to corrupt the young, get them away from religion, encourage their interest in sex, and like try to normalize all the sexual degeneracy, make them superficial by focusing their interest in sports and entertainment and all this other stuff, and then always preach true democracies but seize power as fast and ruthlessly as possible, encourage government to like get bigger, destroy its credit, produce fear with rising prices, inflation, and general discontent, encourage disorders, foster a lenient attitude towards disorders, like try to normalize like degeneracy.
Yeah.
It sounds like Western society at the moment. All of that can be applied.
Yep.
Yeah. And you can see what they do, like inciting group against group, like to provoke social tension, you know.
Oh yeah, like oh yeah, like it's
So,
like try to get like minorities to turn against the majority.
yeah, it's like it's all about creating conflict, creating and putting wood on the fire. It's like they do that all the time. It's blacks versus white. It's gays versus straight people, men versus women versus siblings. It's everything. They create each conflict. They put wood on the fire all the time to create a social tension.
Yeah. Oh, Adrian, do you think we should give communists free helicopter rides?
Well, not for free. I think they should pay for them, but they don't have any money, so
Yeah.
I will volunteer some of my salary for that. Yes.
I will not condone the slaughter of the left. I will participate in it. But back in the day, I would just be like, "Oh my gosh, that's disgusting." But now I'm like, "Hell yeah, go ahead."
Yeah, it's funny how that change came for me as well. Just how quickly it happened. I didn't even fight it. I was just like, okay, this is who I am now.
Yep. And plus, thanks to Pinochet, Chile was finally saved.
Yeah.
Hey, Danilo, didn't you say that you guys had a military dictator in Brazil who was exactly like Pinochet?
We did. Argentina did too. I think almost a big part of Latin American culture is that. In Brazil, particularly, it was good on some aspects, and bad in others. Like it wasn't like Pinochet. Pinochet did everything right, like not everything, but he maintained the order on the political side, on the social order, but the free market in Brazil, they just destroyed the economy in the last years. We had 21 years of military regime, and in the last ones, they tried to do an economic explosion, and it did. It developed the economy of the country developed very quickly. Had a downfall. It was just destroyed. We faced, I think, the worst crisis we in our history. But on the social side, it was good. But it's like it's something like in military mind. You have to make a escape. Like um, they only focus it in uh, uh, terrorism, leftist terrorism, and uh, wars or like anything they could do with riots with Molotov cocktails and something, but they just let the left lead on the cultural side, like they just dominated the universities and the media, and the government just let them do like things against the government of the journal, but you knew everyone in that journal was leftist, and the regime has failed, it became just the reason of uh, all the Brazilians disgraces, like till now. It's best. The military regime has ended in 1980. Not everything.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hey, Adrian. Oh, remember when you said that Trump seems like he could be a good emperor?
Hmm.
Do you think he will give Bernie Sanders and them free helicopter rides?
No, but it'll make his life miserable, seeing his country go a different path than democratic socialism.
Yeah. Oh, do you think we could talk about how democratic socialism is an oxymoron?
I
yeah.
think so.
Like, what do you guys think of it?
Well, it depends on the definition. What the definition is.
Yeah.
In my opinion, socialism cannot be achieved without through the it can only be achieved through the barrel of a gun. It cannot be achieved through like the ballot box, like I said. Because like the thing about Allende is that remember when he was democratically, and I say that in quotation marks, he was democratically elected. um, the reason why there was so much resistance was because you can't expect to elect some socialist douchebag, some four-eyed freak like Allende, and then expect him to seize all power over private property, and then expect there to not be any resistance.
Well, no, like I'd resist.
Yeah, we'd
If
all
someone-
resist here.
Yeah, right. Like if some communists try to take over my means of production, I will resist in every way possible. The only way it's going to happen is through a violent revolution, or if they like corrupt the state and use the state to do it.
Yeah, because like I said, like that's how I somewhat explained this in my video about Pinochet. It could only happen unless like they start like killing a ton of capitalists, start slaughtering people on the right. And the thing is, the reason why it will also be a hard task for them to do it, especially in the U.S., is because most people on the right are armed.
Yeah, and they hate the left. So
Yep.
I'm sure that they take pleasure in resistance. Especially
Oh
people in
yeah,
Texas, they don't fuck around.
yeah. I couldn't stop laughing at Christopher Cantwell's post where he said, "Oh, I used to hate police brutality, but now since I seen the leftist protest, now I like it."
Yeah, it's like it's a good measure. It's a good measure standard. The feminists who
I wish they'd be more brutal. I hope.
and
I wish the police was more brutal in the fact, because the police are very brutal on people who take drugs, or don't pay taxes, or don't obey the speed limits, or even having like a firearm here in Australia. But when it comes to actually destroying property, assaulting police, they just like don't do
They
anything.
just disregard it.
They just if there's only a time to bash some skulls, now's the time to do it.
Time to bash some leftist skulls, Pinochet style.
But I don't think they can because there's discrimination laws. They're just like they don't want another the Black Riot chip out thing. Was the case with the Black Lives Matter thing.
Oh yeah.
We must spill the blood of the white devil. The time has come to erode the border of Europe and exterminate the white race once and for all.
It's not as scary about your mask on, dude.
Yeah, but yeah, like, and also kind of like back to what Danilo was talking about. Remember how plenty of social tension?
wait,
I talked about this in the video, the war on white people, where like one of the goals and aims of the Communist Party was to provoke minority resentment against like the majority and use minorities as a tool to destabilize society and attack Republican idealisms.
yeah, I'm not sure if I understand. I have understood your question because on the first moment it just sound you're asking about how many white people are just.
Oh no, I was just rephrasing what you said earlier.
What? Which one?
Remember what you said when you said how communists like to create social tension, like between like blacks versus whites, gays versus straight, women versus men.
Yeah. Well, say about this, but yeah, that's no. I think I've said what I had to.
But anyway, how do you guys think what do you guys think would be another perfect like strategy to defeat the left?
Well, it's educating ourselves or is the first thing, you know. Educating ourselves, studying about their plans, and being culturally formed and trying to help each other. It's like you can't just change the world, you know. You can change yourself and can try to help people around you. And politically, we have more to do. We can do more. It's not like any strategy you can just point right now. It's something you have to think and analyze the circumstances. But I think we have to grow up among the young people, like
Yeah, the millennials.
yeah, making them curious about like the other side, you know, because today it's what I said in my university. Today, defending that you have two different visions and you should hear both of them before deciding your position. It's already a right wing thing, you know.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. Another way also is to like not only to protect our culture and our tradition, of course, like and protect like our beloved Western society. Also, learn free market economics because leftists hate it when you refute them on economics and you point out the fact that history is strongly opposed to their ideology, their utopia.
I think the best way of beating the left, if you can actually beat the left, is just be better than them. Like,
yeah,
earn more money, focus on your skills, be healthier, be stronger, have a more close circle of friends. If you start a family and still like choose a good wife and instill those good values. The left,
yeah,
the danger of the left is that they're outbreeding us, and in a democratic society, that's disastrous because they can vote in leftist politicians who embrace leftist policies. So I think, well, my angle is to reduce the power of government through like education and good parenting. And if we live in a free market environment, the left wouldn't be a threat because most of these leftists couldn't support themselves through their own goodwill. They rely on the right and capitalists for the welfare system to feed themselves and provide a lifestyle. So as long as we just keep being happy and well-knowledge and healthy and hang around, ostracize the left, and even like almost like dominate the left through commanding, like asserting a dominance, like Muslims and blacks do. If white people do that, middle class white, and the right do that, it's almost they feel intimidated not to address us because the white guilt is what's enabling their narrative. If white people grew balls and they're a lot more aggressive and dominating, like blacks or Jews or even Asians, then this narrative wouldn't work at all.
Exactly. Yeah. I
So,
mean, I saw a quote from this communist who once said that another best way is to like arm all the minorities and have white people and put white people in this guilt complex to weaken the nation as well.
yes, because white people are like nice until they're not nice, and then they drop nuclear bombs on people. So I think the left need to remember that if you push the white and the middle class and the right side enough, it just goes into fascism.
Yeah, and then eventually it
yeah,
leads to a Pinochet moment, a Franco moment, all those moments back again.
Absolutely, there's going to be like a culling.
yeah.
Yeah, and also,
I
you know how
think
you talked about having a good family and stuff like that? Leftists also despise the family because once they abolish the family, that's how the government becomes center of attention.
Yes. It's not just that. It's like if you don't have a good parents, if you don't have a good dad, like no feminist has a good relationship with their dad. If you have a good relationship with your father as a girl, the all men are evil kind of thing just doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. If they were raised properly by like by the right dad, they wouldn't be all like men are evil, men are sexist and oppressive.
Yeah, exactly. So as long as we like go that path, they can't win. The left become irrelevant, and the narrative is just becomes boring. And we already see that now. Like there's a big alt-right rising. That's why Trump is so popular at the moment.
Yeah, Donald Trump has become more popular in the polls, especially because of the riot that happened in Chicago with the Black Lives Matter. Pretty much anarchists, communists, and the entire far left all just got together and just started disrupting shit, started burning cars down, beating people up, and just started shooting guns in the air.
Yeah, the scum. Bring out the helicopters for these people. Like the police should give these. What was it? The shampoo, wooden shampoo. I would have no regrets at all. I'd encourage them to do that. I'd even be happy to pay taxes if that was the case. I'd volunteer my salary.
Yeah, if it goes to destroying the left, I will be proud of that. All right, so
and
what else should
also
we discuss? Go ahead.
I just want to add you said about how to defeat the left. I think the left has a cultural root with first the media. the academic future, like both in universities and books and everything, the intellectuality, and the great corporations that finance them. It's the truth. It's hilarious when they talk shit about the big corporations, when these corporations are what giving them money, but the truth, the words, the most urgent, to demoralize the media. People shouldn't trust the big media anymore, and this is fundamental. And this is the main reason why I'm supporting Trump in American votes, because the establishment media should be destroyed. And second, the culture about intellectuality, it's much more difficult, because it's what I said, is studying. We have to study. We have to convince our friends to study, and and beat them on the academic fight. And without the media, the strong media on their support, they lose a very important ally to the second fight.
Yeah.
I think we already see that happening. Mainstream media is on a decline. Like a lot of people, I read recently that a lot of Russia's critics have been fired because there's not enough money in the industry to employ these people. So I'm seeing a shift from mainstream media into the alternative media, which is YouTube and the internet. So that's already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
It's starting to happen, but it's more about our generation, and like mostly people just don't know about internet media, like what they search to read. But
Yeah,
it's
it's like they don't
growing,
study
no
politics
doubt.
at all. They only like
Sorry.
believe what the media says.
What?
No. I think you're underestimating YouTube. I mean, Lewis was telling me that he came to his position through YouTube, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
So people like Scotty M are definitely reaching the millenniums, but they have to be on YouTube for that to happen. And also have a good community around them to talk about these issues once it gets challenging.
Why do you guys think the elites might hate Trump?
Because, well, which elites?
Just like just the elites, like in the U.S., such as Soros, Goldman Sachs, and all these other people.
Because he's alpha. He's not afraid to challenge the narrative, and the elites are finding out that the people are supporting Trump, which means the narrative is not as effective as they'd like it to be.
Yep, so and on top of that, it's like Trump is also funding his own campaign, and instead of like allowing the monopoly mainstream media, all these stupid corporatists are now shitting themselves.
Yeah, so what can they do against all that? I mean, all the main tricks are not working anymore. And what's worse is people supporting him.
Yep, Emperor Trump.
What would be good if I'm pretty convinced that he's going to be the president, but I'm not so sure what his policies are going to be like. I'm pretty sure he's sick of the left and the way that America is going, and he wants to avoid America going the same way as Europe. But I'd like to know what his foreign policies are going to be like, because I'd like to see America intervene in Europe, and like fight against multiculturalism as well.
Yeah, we also need to bomb the fuck out of ISIS too.
Yeah, and I'm hoping these will be such great successes that will inspire other Western societies to do the same, like Canada, England, and Australia. I'm hoping for like a new alt-right rising in like politics and media. Which could happen if Donald Trump is really good as what he says he's going to do. Really good at being the president.
Yeah. And for now, it is perfect to ban Islamic immigration at the moment.
I don't understand how you can't. You just it's a no-brainer. I've been looking into how to, because I wanted to live in America. I was looking into how to migrate there from Australia, and I can't. I have to find a family. I have some family over there. I have to find an employer. If I'm just a capitalist with money and want to start my own business, it takes 3 years. I don't understand why people who are dumber than me and have completely different values than me just go when they are welcomed. I think that's
I hate that too. Hey, you know how they always hold up signs that say we'll trade racists for refugees. I'm just gonna be like, we'll trade Adrian and Danilo for refugees.
Yeah.
We'll trade refugees for Adrian and Danilo. Actually, I have to reverse that.
That'd be great. I'd love to live in America, man. I'd love to live I'm listening to Cantwell talk about New Hampshire. New Hampshire, that state. The taxes are ridiculously low, and people walk around with open carry, and everyone's white. That sounds like my idea of fucking Bioshock 2 Columbia, Rapture City, Utopia. I want to go there and live there, but I can't because rules. But Muslims can. So fix it, Trump. There's some bullshit going on there.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. So someone wants to join our stream. Let me bring him in here.
Okay.
So what else do you guys want to talk about?
I'm interested in the riots happening in Brazil at the moment. Protesters. Is that over or is that still going?
Danilo, tell him about it. He took pictures of it from a roof.
What?
Did he take pictures?
It was.
I saw some.
It was the biggest protest in whole Latin American history. You know.
Wow.
It was about only in São Paulo city. It was about 3 million people on the street.
Fuck, that's holy shit. That's like a whole of Melbourne. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy.
100,000 people.
So were
And
they
my
all
city has about 600,000 people. It's like
were they unified?
big
Or
amount.
were there protests, or was there different sectors or factions in there?
Yeah, there is a big investigation about the crimes made in this government and the past governments of the Workers' Party, which is the left wing, and they had a leader or former President Lula that he was so acclaimed by the media and the leftists in general, and there is a big investigation of him on him about corruption and everything, and they are doing everything to blind to protect him, you know, like our President Dilma just invited him to accept an office as a minister to avoid the judgment and broke the investigation. They're trying everything. It's like it's happening a political war down here. It's like and German newspaper has said Brazilian politics is going better than House of Cards. It's like very intriguing. Even we have even more murders and strange accidents. Like in this week, 5 people that died. 5 people against the government died in strange accidents. You know, it's very suspicious. only in this week.
Sure, man.
I'm not even.
And The new guy just joined. Hey, what's up?
Greetings and salutations, gentlemen.
Hello.
Hi.
I didn't actually ask to be invited, but thank you for inviting me. I was just curious why there was no chat window, and then you sent me a link. So thank you.
Yeah, no
Yeah, why
problem.
isn't there a chat window? I've got a YouTube thing open. I don't see a chat window.
Oh, by the way, I'm not too loud, am I? I'm not shouting.
No,
Dude, you
no,
sound
no.
so good. That's
Thank
like
you.
your best quality.
So what's the topic of discussion tonight?
This is just an alt-right podcast. We're just talking about how evil the left is.
I see. Well, I'm curious. What are your gentlemen's delineations on your positions? You know, I mean, the alt-right is a very broad spectrum of different ideas.
Yeah, I'm just a far-right libertarian, just a right-wing a libertarian, but who believes in like liberty and all that stuff. But I'm also and like free market economy, but I'm also for like traditionalism, protecting our culture and all that stuff, and like and I'm also like most people will call me a right-wing extremist.
Well, I've been watching you for a little while now, and I don't think you're extreme. I was actually more curious about the other two gentlemen, just because I was more familiar with your position, and I'm not familiar with the other two gentlemen.
All right.
What do I call you two?
One's name is Danilo, and
You can call me Adrian. I have a YouTube channel called Life, Love, and Anarchy. I make presentations on philosophy, on popular pop culture videos. I identify with anarcho-capitalism, which is completely free markets, absolute respect to private property rights, and no center government authority. So free economics and private property rights.
It sounds great until you get to the no center authority. I've always thought that was a strange position because I don't have any kind of moral qualms with that. It just seems that the main flaw with never having a centralized government is always that when I ask people how would you defend an anarchist government against an external army, I never get a good answer. So what would be your plan? Say if you were an organizer within this anarchistic government.
Well, there'd be no organizer of government. The people would be.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, for one thing, there would be no real incentive for invading an anarchy community because there's no nation state to take over taxes. So you're essentially organizing an army to take over like a couple of million private businesses and homes. And
yeah,
how we fight against that?
That's happened before. I mean, there'll always be resources here, or not even here, but just wherever this anarchistic state exists. At some point in time, there will always be somebody who will want the resources that is there. Wouldn't you agree
Well, the
with
best
that?
way of, well, unless it's like a very specific resource that can't be found anywhere else, like uranium or something, the best way of acquiring that resource is through trade. It'd be very expensive organizing a military strategy to invade a hostile and violent group when it's available for sale.
Right, but it's not beyond the. I don't think this is beyond the pale, and you seem to think it's just no other government would ever try to invade this kind of communal society. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that somebody does. What would be the plan of action? Because it just seems like.
Well, then we fight back.
What's that?
We fight back.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's easier said than done, though. I mean, that's the great benefit of having a centralized government is you can mobilize a military far more quickly than you would be able to in this disparate communal society that anarchists tend to envision.
Well, I disagree with that. A lot of
Really?
well, Americans' independence was fought by a ragtag group of colonists against an overwhelming, stronger militaristic government, and they won. It's the same with the Vietnam War.
Yeah, but they had help.
Sure, we might have help as well. I consider military hierarchy to be a weakness in war, because you know what to attack. There's a command center. As soon as you kill Hitler, the war's over.
Well, yes and no. I mean, I could see your point. I wouldn't say it's always a weakness, though. I mean, there was many wars that were only won because of great military strategy and, Waterloo. I mean, you can go back through history, and it's not as if all the great wars were won because they killed the leader. Right.
Well, it's a possibility. I don't consider this a major flaw of anarcho-capitalism. I think there
No,
are bigger.
I was just curious what your position on it was, because it's something that I never really that was a very succinct answer, actually. I don't really hear good answers most of the time when I talk to anarcho-capitalists or people like that.
Do you talk to them often? Do you meet?
Yeah,
Do you know them?
I talk to a lot of people, actually.
That's good. I'm really impressed with your communication skills. You're really well spoken and you know when to listen.
Oh, thank you.
So what do you want yourself?
Me, I'm a novelist, and I write for a website called West Coast Reactionaries, and I also what's that?
Nice.
Thank
I
you.
like the name Reactionaries.
Yeah, it was something I'd never identified as, but I had some friends who wrote for it, and or acquaintances rather, and they liked my writing, and they just thought I'd be good for it, and so I just started writing for them. That's pretty much my. I mean, I have a very small YouTube channel that I just started, but it's mainly just music that I've created. Other than that, that's pretty much the ambit of my projects thus far.
And politically, what do you align yourself as?
I've never had any particularly strong inclinations to identify myself with either the right or the left, but I'm certainly I certainly consider myself more right-leaning. I'm definitely very opposed to virulent progressivism. Progressing towards what?
You mean
I'm
regressivism?
opposed. I'm sorry. What's that?
You mean regressivism?
Oh yes, I rather like that term. There's a guy on YouTube. I don't know if you've heard of him, called Chad Brennan, and him and me were often talking about that, because at first I was actually rather opposed to the term, much like cuckservative or something like that, because there's always this tendency for these things to be used very effectively and pragmatically at first, and then they just evolve into this knee-jerk mudslinging of, anybody who disagrees with you becomes a cuckservative. Anybody who disagrees with you becomes whatever. And
I think that's
but
happening now.
what's that?
I think it's happening now as well.
Yeah, and I don't. It's so fucking petty. I can't stand it. That and it creates infighting where there doesn't need to be any infighting. Like in reactionary circles, you always have the Catholics against the pagans, and they always say, "Oh, fucking Christianity's weak," and then the pagans or the Catholics come in and they're like, "Well, you're heathens and you're going to hell," and they could be working on a constructive political project, and they won't. I didn't really answer your question though. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd be mildly authoritarian. I mean, I am very opposed to egalitarianism. It's false on its face. I mean, everyone is born inherently unequal and grows into inherently unequal personas, have different abilities and so forth. And so I think attempting to build upon egalitarianism will always, essentially lead to the problems that are occurring in the West as we see it. I feel like I've been talking too long. I could expand more, but I don't want to take over your program.
Oh, no worries. Would you like to ask the Brazilian guy Danilo where his political stance is on?
The Brazilian guy.
Yeah.
Sure. Hey, Brazilian guy, tell me your political stances.
Well, I would say, I'm more socially conservative. Like, I agree with what equalitarianism, um, like um, and I'm for free market in general, so I'm more like um, Thatcher conservative, or Reagan conservative. I don't know what you said.
So thus far, we're all for the free
In general.
market. It would appear.
Yeah. What?
I said that. So thus far, it appears we're all for the free market then.
Yes.
We all favor the free market here.
I'm not a libertarian. But I think it works more. I think the money you work to earn should be kept. Um, the
Oh, he's dead.
powers, the power focus of the powers should be more locally than concentrated nationally, things like that, you know.
Okay. That was fairly concise. Thank you, Brazilian guy. How do you pronounce his name? Danilo, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Danilo.
I just, I'm a filthy American pig dog, so I'm rather bad with foreign enunciation.
TGV.
Hello.
What's that?
Hey.
Oh, greetings.
How are you?
I'm alright. Wait, can you guys hear me?
I can hear you perfectly fine, sir.
Alright, well that's good. Oh, I just saw the Hangout on my subscription thing. I saw someone asked if he was chatting. You gave the link, so I thought that anyone could just join. So I thought I would.
That's because I'm a pretty cool cat, my friend.
Okay.
You're
And I'm very humble too. It's one of my defining qualities.
a good writer as well. Reading some of your short essays, the way you use words are really inspiring.
Oh, thank you.
Hey,
So what do you-
Alan, what are your political views?
Well, I'm an Ancap, but I've been an Ancap for a few months now. But I'm sort of become more interested in sort of alt-right stuff, and obviously since this chat is about that, then I thought I would sort of join in, and yeah.
Nice.
Is that Genesis?
Yeah, Genesis.
I thought it was. And
Yeah,
you don't have a picture of Genesis with Peter Gabriel. Shame on you, sir.
Yeah, I know that was this year's, but I like this picture. I think it's pretty cool.
That is a pretty neat picture.
Hey Danilo, can you explain the riots again that happened in Brazil?
Yeah. Well, I'll try to summarize it. It was about there is a big investigation about this government, crimes occurred in this government and the past governments. I mean, the past mandates of the same party, the Workers' Party, that is the left wing, that's still in the power. But the main investigations is about Lula, which is our former president, and he's like an icon of the left in our country. So you can wonder how it's been a very big tension when it comes up to investigations on him, and including the callings that they intercepted to the public, and now the left it's so angry, and they made riots too, of course, much smaller than ours. Like they wouldn't put 3 million in one city in São Paulo in one day like we did, but the population in general against the government, and they want justice against the corruption on this government. But like I said, there is a political war. Like it's like House of Cards, literally.
That's a good show.
Yeah, no, it's like, for example, I just said our President Dilma had put the former president as a minister of the state to prevent him of being arrested and investigated from the police. It's just and
Too
he
much
did
political
it
intrigue.
publicly. Yeah, and not only that, it's many things, and there is strange accidents against strange accidents happening with important people dying on them. Just in this week, it happened 5 times. People against the government just died.
Just died?
Uh,
Like, what happened?
yeah, for example, a guy from he was a former director of the Valley. I don't know if you know, it's um, uh, a big enterprise on mineration and agriculture, and he has many negotiations with the government, and some sources said he was intending to make a deletion, and suddenly his plane falls down and he dies. And there was another case, a guy in a city near São Paulo has he was the leader of the protest. He was just murdered with 7 shots, and uh, like there are suspicious circumstances. I cannot prove
Yeah,
anything,
that sounds
but
like something out of
it,
Michael
it's
Clayton.
strange. It happens 5 times only in this week.
Very peculiar. Well, Mr. Brazilian guy, what, do you have any, is there any sort of, likelihood, do you think, of bringing
Like
to light this situation, or sort of turning it on its head? Because I'm not at all familiar with your country, so I don't really have any insights into it.
what do you mean?
Oh, I meant, like, is there a big political uproar about this, or is this something that's sort of been swept under the rug? These strange
So
deaths.
the sound is the sound has cut it on the first things you said.
Oh, I said, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I said, is this something which is causing a big public uproar, or is it something which has been swept under the rug by the government, or some other organization? Like, is it something that people are aware of, or is this kind of a niche thing? These mysterious deaths, I mean.
You mean it has cut the last part again, but you mean if it is going public,
Yeah.
or yeah, like we have riots. There was 3 million on the streets. It has publicly. They are doing this publicly, like Dilma calling the former president a minister of state. She only can do it publicly. So many things they do publicly, and many things they can't do. They don't. What they can hide, they hide. But it's not everything that they can hide. So they are appealing now from emotional stances, and like the more poor people, on labor unions and their bases, they're appealing on these people to defend them and create more riots and something.
I see.
But
Well,
yeah,
it'd fit in fine over in America. It seems like every single city there's a riot every other week over here.
uh, here, here it wasn't happen. I haven't seen a riot in my entire life since 3 years ago. There was a big riot of, like, it was people has exploded after uh, for so many years. It actually, the first riot on 2013, it was secretly organized by the left, but it was like the shot has gone to the wrong side, because after that, the right wing people they are quiet, started to talk and started to go to the streets and being the majority, and they didn't expect it.
Yeah, if I could interject on that, that's certainly something that's it's very unusual in internet circles of right-leaning or alt-right
No, no,
type people.
Cater and Alan, are you guys? Would you guys consider yourselves as opposition to the left?
Yes, I certainly would.
Yeah, I think so.
What would be your strategy to defeat the left?
Well, that would
I don't know.
depend. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Alan. You haven't actually
Okay.
had much time to speak.
Oh, I don't really know. I mean, I guess sort of leftist ideas are pretty, firmly implanted to government. Well, I live in New Zealand, right? And like we're pretty left wing compared to pretty much all other Western nations, especially the United States. So alt-right stuff is not very popular here at all. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What I was gonna say in response to your question, Center, would be it would really depend on where you were talking about. I mean, like the left in the UK is quite a bit different than the left in America. Not too much, but there are some differences. There's more difference with their Conservative Party, which is more like our Democratic Party than our Conservatives, which are mostly religious fanatics. But I don't know that I just have an overarching plan. But one of the things that would greatly help is to have more cohesion within, if I can say, our circles. Is that, like I was saying before, there's always all this infighting about things that are rather trivial. Like what's that sound?
Might be me. I'm pretty busy in this city.
I'm like a crow going after shiny objects, so easily distracted. No, but so like for like really hardcore alt-right guys, they'll say stuff like, anime as an art form is degenerate. It doesn't matter what kind of anime you're talking about. It's just degenerate, and then they'll slam people that like anime. And it's just such a stupid thing to get angry about. Or that somebody's I don't know. There was one guy in a hangout I was doing not too long ago, and he was homosexual. And most of the other people were not even religious, but they just thought homosexuality was degenerate, all right? And he said he was so ashamed of being homosexual because of his beliefs, which aligned pretty much with theirs, that he refused to have sex. He was completely celibate and said he would be until he died. And they still slammed the shit out of him and said he was degenerate. And I'm like, you just can't win. So that stuff needs to take a back seat, and all this throwing out of the conservative thing, and just baseless shit flinging. I would attempt to put an end to that and attempt to build bridges instead of burn them. So that'd be the first thing I would do. What about you, Center, or Alan? What would you do?
there you go, Center.
Well, I've kind of explained this like at the beginning. Mine would just be protecting our culture, protecting everything of ours, and like bring out the free market, and that's how we'll defeat the left. And also free helicopter rides for leftists.
Center needs a Pinochet.
Pinochet.
Well, yeah, sure, that sounds great, but that's easier said than done, and that's why you need unity and you need an actual movement. So like the Libertarian Party, like you could say it's a movement. It has no political force here in America. It does nothing, and it doesn't inspire people. It certainly doesn't inspire the youth. Which is something that's different about this new sort of almost hermetic little, rightist movement that's coming up, and that's been emphasized by people like Trump and so forth, guys like that. And I think it's much more energetic, and it's much more I don't know, symbolic maybe. Emblematic of people's existential angst. And I
Yeah.
think it's something that can be greatly capitalized upon, but only if there's unity, and only if people come and coalesce and work together.
Yeah.
I guess there's
I'm
unity.
probably gonna end this hangout end this stream since we've been going out for a long time right now. Do you guys
Okay.
have anything else to say at the last minute?
What?
I just want to finish off that point that a lot of people from the alt-right are there just because they're anti-left.
Yes,
And
that's a
there's
good point. I certainly agree with that.
And so there's a lot of people who are stupid, but not stupid as the left stupid, but just lower IQ, and they still tend to like blame Jews for media control and stuff like
Yes.
that, and have bad ideas about economics. So I don't think there's unity. We can't have a unity in alt-right. I see the purpose of alt-right is to actually intimidate the left to back off, and once they lose moral credibility and popularity within the youth, or the audience, the community, then we can actually have a conversation, the way to go from there.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'll pick up next and follow that up if I might. I agree with pretty much everything you said. I just think that maybe you're being a bit too pessimistic. I think it can be. I think the alt-right can be unified, and perhaps maybe I'm being idealistic, but I certainly hope it is. And what I would say is that the great strength that I think most of the people such as ourselves have, that the left also has, especially the far left, but that the centrists and most of the libertarians do not have, is a forward-looking vision for one's culture, which they seem to be lacking. And they lack that vital, energizing force that really moves people and gets people excited about interacting and changing their society. And that's something that should be elevated.
Yeah.
Okay.
Daniel, do you have anything to say?
I think our institutions like or traditions, but of course, like I said before, we have to destroy their establishment like media and the intellectual culture. Like we have a different front of battles like in universities, in academic mean you have sort of debates. It's trying to have debates because they think that there is an homogeneous situation. So only by broken this homogeneity, you have it's a little victory that can be uh, can be can grow, you know. And I think the first thing is to educate ourselves
I can scarcely
in
disagree with that.
about our culture's declining if we simply ignore everything that is happening. It's not only by complaining. We have to learn what is happening. We have to learn their ideals. We have to learn our ideals, and uh, so yeah, it's what I think.
What about you, Alan?
Oh wait, what was the question?
No, like, do you have anything else to say before
Oh
we
yeah,
end?
well, about what? Well, that guy with the red profile pic. Well, what's your name?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, Cater. My name's Cater.
Okay. Well, what you said, I thought that made a lot of sense. About how trying to, because I mean, with every movement or with every ideology, you get sort of infighting within that, right? And
Yeah, of course.
you know,
It's to be expected.
yeah. But I think while it's important, I mean, I'm an individualist. It's important to sort of to keep your own opinion and not become too susceptible to sort of groupthink, but also
Echo
at the same
chambers.
time, yeah. But also at the same time to have more unity. I guess it's kind of hard to do those two things at once, maybe, but to reach some sort of compromise if people want to achieve their goals. So.
Yep. All right. That's
Eloquently
about
put.
it. Wait, Cater, do you want to say something?
Oh yeah, just thanks for letting me on, and I think you're all rather interesting guys. So thanks for
Thank
letting
you.
me talk.
Thank you for
Well,
coming.
Thanks, Ethan.
Yep.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you.
Good day,